Hey guys, so good morning. So I'm out here fishing at Calaveras Lake. I'm actually fishing by myself today. Well, not myself, I got Kira with me. But I thought I'd take this opportunity to do another video for my drift fishing. So I already have one video out. It's a little grainy. It's when I used another software on my computer. Since then I've updated my computer, and a lot more of my videos, if you've been following me from the beginning, you've noticed that the quality has gotten a little bit better. So I figure I use today do another video on how I drift fish out here. And drift fishing for me, I'm primarily targeting blue catfish or channel catfish. Every once in a blue moon, you know, I might hook up to a red, but that's not what I'm fishing for. That's more, I think the fish is just curious and just happen to take a bite. But you probably could use this setup for drifting for reds if you like. You just need to change your baits. But we're fishing for cats. So when we're fishing for catfish and when you're drift fishing, you need two components. You need wind, and then you need some drift socks. If you don't have wind, you can still drift fish, and I'll kind of explain that later towards the end. But preferred when I'm drifting, I want some wind and not heavy wind. So when the wind is blowing, basically what it's doing, and basically what you're doing when you're drifting. So today the wind's blowing from the south. It's coming out from the dam, and it's blowing out towards the main lake. So what I want to do is I want to figure out where I'm going to start fishing. I pick a spot, I get to my spot, and then I throw out my drift sock. So you need wind and you need drift socks. Basically a drift sock, if you don't know what one is, the easiest way I explain it to people when they come fishing with me, it's just like an underwater parachute. That's really all that it is. It's just a device that's going to open up, it's going to capture a lot of the water just to slow your boat down. And it kind of looks like this. So this is the drift sock that I use. I believe it's about 42 inches. I got it at Academy. I think it ran about $14 or $15. And I have about 6 of these guys on my boat. Now, the reason I have so many is depending on how fast the wind is blowing is how many socks you're going to use. I always want to stay under 1 mile an hour. And I think right now we're going about 0.5, 0.6, which is ideal for me. So if the wind's not blowing too hard like it is right now, 1 sock is fine. Now, the placement of socks does help out as far as controlling your boat. So for me, on my boat, and it should be the same with most other boats, unless you get into the real small ones. The first place I put my sock is I put it up in the front. I have a cleat attached on the front, and I'll go ahead and attach my first drift sock there. And if I notice the wind starts to pick up a little bit more, then I'll put another sock towards the rear, kind of where you saw me standing before. If the wind starts to pick up a little bit more, then I start stacking my drift socks. And on the back of the drift sock, you're going to see it's got like a little ring, and you can actually attach a second carabiner clip to the first drift sock, so you can have 2 drift socks back to back. So as the wind picks up, again, I start with 1 in the front, picks up, I do 1 in the back, so then I have the 2. As it picks up more, then I will stack 2 in the front, and then if it picks up some more, then I stack 2 and 2, so I'll have 2 in the front, 2 in the back. And then if it picks up more, then my last 2 drift socks, I'll actually just stack them together, and on the rear of the boat I throw it off to the back, and it's actually going to run underneath the boat. This way I don't have a lot of drift socks in the way if I happen to hook up to a fish. Now if I need more than 6 drift socks, I'm going too fast and the wind is probably blowing too fast. In my experience on my boat, if it's blowing more than 15 miles an hour, the 6 socks are not going to help me out, and honestly at 15 miles an hour I probably don't want to be out here at the lake. So that's your basic setup for your drifting. Now you need your drift rigs. So there's different rigs you can use for drift fishing. On my last video, my original video, I showed you a Santee Cooper rig that was modified to have 2 hooks. I'm going to show that to you right now. And then I started using another rig. It's just a drop rig that a buddy of mine, Harry, told me about. I've tried it out a couple of times. It does seem to work pretty well. I don't use it often. I usually only use it when I come fishing by myself or with my dad. I've done it a couple of times when my daughter was here for summer. So the first one, Santee rig. I have 2 rods I haven't thrown out yet. I've already thrown out my other 6. Guys, basically all it is, it's a rig you're dragging on the bottom. So you have a snagless sinker weight, and I have a video. Go to my how-tos. I show you how to make these. If you don't want to make them, you can buy them. They sell them at Bass Pro. I've seen them, and I'm not sure about Academy. They might. Not sure because I don't go looking for them. I make them myself. But snagless sinker weight to start off with, and that's closest to your main line. All right. So you attach it to your swivel. Then you need to make your leader for your baits. This leader is pretty long. It's probably, I'm guessing, 4 feet maybe. And you can make this as long or as short as you want. If you want to have it, 18 inches, 24 inches, 36 inches, however long you want to make it, it's up to you. And you don't need the 2 hooks. But I use the 2 hooks so that as I'm dragging this bait on the floor, this weight is on the ground. This bait is going to be closer to the ground in case the fish are hugging direct bottom. And then I have a peg float higher up that has the other hook. And this peg float will keep this bait up in the air. And I believe this one's a 2.5 inch peg float, and they also sell it at Bass Pro Shop. And this is adjustable. You can move it further up or down the line as much as you want. But this is the basic rig that I use every time that I come fishing for catfish. So it's a Santee Cooper rig. And like I said, guys, you don't need the second hook. I do it just so I can get more baits in the water. And so now the second rig that my buddy showed me, like I said, basically it's just like a drop rig. I'm using a 5 or 6 ounce weight, and it's straight on the bottom. And again, this rig, this leader is probably about 3.5 feet long, maybe 4. But probably about 1.5 foot up from the weight. I have a drop loop, got 1 hook, and a little bit higher up again, I have another drop loop with a hook, and then it just attaches to your swivel. So the difference between these two, got caught up, is one of them, which is a Santee rig, I'm actually going to throw it out and let out quite a bit of line and let it drag on the bottom. The drop rig, I'm just going to drop straight down, which is why you need a heavier weight. So it still is going to hit bottom, but it's not going to be dragging further away from the boat. You're going to be catching fish that are probably more directly underneath your boat. So the drop rig, guys, just a drop rig. Just open it up and let it go down till it hits bottom. Alright, so we hit bottom. I think I'm in about 41 feet of water right now, guys. Just gonna let it hit bottom, just let it stay there. And the other one, like I said, the other one where I'm actually gonna throw it out, and it still is going to hit bottom, but it's going to be further away from the boat, and I'm going to be dragging that bait. So same thing, throw it out, still letting out line. I'm going to let it hit bottom, and once it hits bottom, I'm going to go ahead and stop it. There we go. Alright, so that's the initial part of it, guys. I'm going to cut off real quick. I'm going to move to my mobile mounts. I can kind of walk around and show you how I have the rod set up. And then that'll probably be it. Hopefully I catch some fish though. So we'll see. It's a really nice day today, actually. We're like mid-September. I think it's only about 80 degrees, and we got some cloud coverage. So it should be a nice day at least, but we'll see if we can get some fish. But yeah, let me switch mounts and I'll show you how I have the separation on my rods. Alright guys, so we're back. I actually forgot my mount. I left it in the boat storage. So I'm holding the camera with my hand. Alright, so basically guys, you're going to see the... normally I don't have this rod on the boat. This is the new one I use for the drop rigs. So usually the separation I have between the rods, I think like from the first rod to the second, it's probably about 2 feet. And then from the second to the third is probably 3 feet. And then it's 3 feet. Then you go towards the rear of the boat. And again, this one's an extra one. That's for the drop rig that I have in the back of the boat. It's usually not set up when I'm fishing most of the time. So from rod number, that would be number 4 to number 5. You're probably talking about another 3 feet. And then you end up going to the one in the rear, which there's not much separation as you can see. However, I do have that one angled off to the side, so I still have some good separation between the rod tips from the top and the bottom. So you want to try and, like I said, you want to try and get some sort of separation. You don't want to have them too close to each other to prevent tangles. So probably the only last thing I could probably talk about, guys, is baits. What kind of baits do you want to use? It's always a debate out here as far as what baits work best. It's really just all personal preference. So me, again, if you've been watching me from the beginning, I like using chicken breast. So I go to HEB and I'll buy the chicken breast in a package. It's usually about 10 bucks. It usually has 5 chicken breasts in there, and I'll slice it in half, usually about 2 or 3 times, and then I cut them into cubes, probably no bigger than that, probably about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inch cube. And that's all that I use, guys. I don't season it with anything. People have asked if I use garlic powder or onion powder, if I put any kind of fish attractant. I don't use anything. It's just straight chicken breast. So that's what I prefer to use. Another good bait to use out here, which I have come across here recently, but I don't actually fish for it, is carp. If you can get your hands on some carp, cut carp also works extremely well. It probably works better than the chicken breast. The only thing is you got to catch some. So for me, my preferences are going to be chicken breast always, because it's readily available. I can get it anytime. If I can get my hands on some carp, I'll use some carp. Some other guys out here, they'll come and they'll use shad, they'll use cut tilapia, they use cut perch. I've seen some guys use squid from the coast. I've seen them have some success with that. Obviously it's a little bit harder to get, but your bait preference is really, it's going to be what you like. Like I said, I'm a chicken breast and then carp guy if I can get it, and that's primarily what I use. I've tried drifting myself with tilapia, fillet, cut into chunks, taking off the scales. I've done the same with shad, and I've never had any success with any of that. So I'm going to stick to what I know works best for me. But again, if you have a certain bait that works best for you, by all means, use it. But that's pretty much all you need. Find the bait that works best. The other thing I probably want to talk about is, can you drift when there's no wind? And yes, you can. It's a little bit harder. If you have a trolling motor, then you're going in the right direction. If you have a trolling motor, if you have zero wind, you can actually point your trolling motor just to go straight in a certain, whatever direction you want, target a hump, target a cove, whatever you want to do. But basically you still want to keep the same speed. You want to be under 1 mile an hour. But you obviously cannot use the side of your boat. You're going to have to use the rear of your boat. If you've seen some of my videos, you've seen where we're catching fish on the back of the boat. And what we're doing is we're trolling with my trolling motor. And then what you want to do is you throw all your baits and you drag them through the back of your boat. It's the same concept as with the wind. Obviously, the biggest difference or the biggest drawback is you're not able to cover as much water as you can if you're using the wind. The wind, you cover the entire front to rear of the boat, and when you're drifting with your trolling motor, just as wide as your boat is all the water that you're going to cover. But it still works. If you come out here and you wanted to drift fish and there's no wind, but you have a trolling motor, hey, try it out. It does work out. If you have an iPilot trolling motor, that's even better. because it's GPS operated. You can have it go in a certain direction, and you can program it to stay in that direction. So this way, if another boat comes by and a wake hits your boat, it's not going to push you off. It's going to continue to maintain, that straight course. Whereas if you have a regular trolling motor, you're constantly having to readjust it. And especially if a boat comes by with a big wake, if it pushes you, it's going to turn your whole boat around. But you can still do it. On my old boat, I had an old Alumacraft, and I was able to do it that way. So I know you can do it. But if you do have an iPilot, perfect. It will work for you without a doubt. So that's pretty much it, guys. I like drift fishing. It's not a technique that you're gonna load up on fish by no means. I know I've had some good days where I'm drifting. I might get 10 to 12 fish drift fishing, but it's not a technique, or at least I don't think it's a technique if you want to load up on fish. If you're coming out here and you're expecting to do 20, 30 fish, this technique will probably not get it for you. But then again, 20 to 30 fish is a lot of fish, guys. If I come out here, if I can get 2 to 3 fish, that's more than enough meals for me and my family for probably 3, probably 4 meals, depending how big the fish is. But it's a fun technique. You're able to cover a lot of water. You're not settled in one spot, and it's good to just relax. You come out here, you let the wind do the work for you. So yeah, so this is my drifting technique, guys. This is how I drift fish for blues, how I drift fish for catfish. Like I said, occasionally I might pick up a red, but it's by accident. It's very fun, it's relaxing, I enjoy it. Today, even if I don't catch anything, the weather is beautiful. Like I said, got some good cloud coverage. Gonna smoke my cigar later, and if I catch a fish, then that's a bonus. And really, guys, that's what fishing is, guys. You want to come out, you want to enjoy yourself, you want to have a good time, you want to relax, and if you can do all of that, then you're already winning. And catching the fish is just the icing on the cake. That's all that it is. So hope you enjoy the video. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section. For all the guys who have been seeing me at the lake, thanking me for the videos and introducing themselves, guys, I really do appreciate it. I do enjoy talking to you all, even though it might be just a quick minute or two, because usually we're in passing, you guys are heading out, I'm heading in, or vice versa. But I do appreciate you all coming and just telling me hello. It does mean a lot to me, and I do appreciate the fact that you guys are watching my videos. So yeah, again, if you have any questions, leave comments, or if you see me out here in the water, by all means, tell me hi. I'm usually out here on Thursdays when I'm off from work, and every other weekend. So if you come on a weekend, you have a 50-50 shot of meeting me. But yeah, thanks a lot. Hope you enjoyed the video, and now let's see if I can catch some fish. All right, thanks. Kira has to say bye. So, fishing dog. More people recognize her than they recognize me, but I'm okay with that. All right, guys, see y'all later. All right, guys, who's on the drop rig? All right, I just lit my cigar. Alright, guys, it's a nice channel on cut carp. I don't want channels. If I'm gonna keep a fish, I'm probably gonna keep a blue if I get one. But first fish of the morning.